Welcome to this post-game media edition of Talking Hoosier Baseball. Today is Saturday, April 23rd, 2022. The Indiana Hoosiers clinched the series with Nebraska today with a dominant 8-1 victory. After the game, the media caught up with coach Jeff Mercer, center fielder Bobby Whalen, and right-handed pitcher Bradley Brehmer.
If you show your hand too early, that stuff starts to happen in the fourth and fifth inning instead of there in the sixth. So we wanted to make him hit the fastball. Once they established they were going to be able to do that, it was time to mix more and kind of save one or two of the off-speed pitches for each time to the lineup. But you can't give up 4 runs in the first 2 innings trying to save a pitch for later. So once that was the case, we made an adjustment and mixed more, and he was able to throw 4 pitches for a strike and then kind of was in control from there.
Would you feel this was your best played game of the season between the pitching, the 16 strikeouts, the way your offense got it going, and the fielding, given the quality of opponent? It's only the second time you've allowed less than 2 runs this season. So
yeah, I would say it was certainly one of the best games that we played. We've played well multiple times, but today in conference against a really good opponent, to do what we did was terrific. And we've gotten better. There for about the last week or 10 days, I think we lost like 5 2-run or less games, and so you could see us kind of inching towards it. And today we were really good in all phases of the game. And when you put it all together, you have an outcome like that. So yeah, I would say it was one of our better games of the year, certainly.
Ty Bothwell seems to be doing at least one thing he did really well last year, which was, oddly enough, throwing fastballs both high and low in the zone. Yeah. Is that? I mean, I thought I'd heard that's kind of what it was, and that's what we seem to see today.
It is like his fastball rides up, and so he's, as odd as it sounds, he's aiming low to get it to ride up, because if he aims middle or up, it rides really up, and so sometimes he gets on top and it stays down, and then sometimes it kind of rides up. So you just kind of have to play the miss a little bit, and then the miss ends up being where he's effective at. And there towards the end, he just got too warm side, right? So it's not riding on the plate, it's off the plate, and I kind of lost the feel for it. But yeah, you kind of have to tell the catcher, make sure like we're set up down in the way, but it's going to ride up, and hopefully that's what allows the swing and misses. And he did that for several guys, and we were able to utilize it to his strength.
And then with Little 5, the crowd was obviously down, but I mean, was it nice to have like a full crowd on a beautiful day for the first time in a couple of years?
Yeah, that's been a really nice piece of this year. We've had awesome crowds and great support throughout the entirety of the season, and obviously today is 80 degrees and sunny and a beautiful day, and we had a great crowd again. And the boys really appreciate that. They appreciate the support. They're playing their hearts out. It's a great group of tough kids that just keep showing up every day and competing. You have injuries and you have different things that go along with it, but those guys just keep showing up. I love the group. I love this team, and mostly because of who they are inside. They're tough and competitive, and they love Indiana, and I think it shows in the way that they play. And it's great to have a crowd here to support those guys in their efforts.
You've talked about your pitchers obviously being shell-shocked a lot early in the season. It seems like you're finally, with Bothwell, with Holderfield, with Tucker, you're finally getting a few reliable arms out of the bullpen as the year goes on. Yeah. There's still a few guys struggling, but I mean, you've got 3 or 4 guys you can now count on more out of the pen. What's been the change?
It's just getting back in and playing normal college baseball again. You got to get on the field. You got to pitch. You look at, Luke Hayden from earlier in the year to what he did, this past midweek, and you watch these guys growing up. They're growing up before your eyes, and so it just takes time. It's an emotional game. It's a different game than they've experienced. It just takes time for those guys to grow up and mature, and they're getting a lot better, and they keep working hard, and so they will. So I'm very proud of them, and we're getting a lot better on the mound for sure.
After Whalen hit that triple, and they had a change, they had a timeout, and you actually yourself came out. Not something I've seen very often. What was going through your mind then? What did you tell him?
So which one now? I'm sorry.
Whalen, when he got that triple right before he stole home.
Yeah.
You actually came out yourself to congratulate him.
It was just a big time play from a big time player. I mean, he was having a great day. For the first pitch of the game, he slams into the wall in center, steals extra bases from there. He's got 4 hits. Another add-on run there, 2 outs, and you have to celebrate those guys, and they have to know that you see all the work they put in, and celebrate those guys in person. And I'm not a super flamboyant guy. I know that, but in that moment, I just was so proud of him and happy for him. And I mean, he's the leader. I mean, he's a heart and soul guy, and I wanted him to know in that moment how proud I was of him and his toughness and the time to steal home. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Max Johnson showed some plus defense today.
Yeah.
Plays for the Packers. How big is that?
Yeah, Max we thought we were going to redshirt Max. Max had injuries throughout the fall and the winter and missed most of the year, but he was an elite defender in high school, and you're seeing it. I mean, that's why he was one of the first guys that we recruited when we got to Indiana 3 years ago, and he's just a true shortstop. A true shortstop that's going to play on the left side for his career here and into the future, hopefully in professional baseball. But he's an elite defender, got great tempo and pace. He's a great thrower. He'll get bigger and stronger and better offensively, but he can really, really play defense, and he's shown it. I mean, Max probably saved 2 or 3 runs today at shortstop. Those plays up the middle, the ball slides through, guy scores, guy goes first to third, he makes that play there in the next inning. Those are critical plays. They're game-changing plays, and Max has that kind of defensive ability, and I was just really proud of him and happy for him.
Take 2 more.
You had some very key hits, and especially the big inning where you scored the 5 runs. Yeah. And that's something that you haven't seen a ton of from this team.
Yeah.
Is there something different, or is it just happened to connect on this particular inning?
No, I think it's you're right. Our batting average with the bases loaded was like 200 coming into the weekend. I think it's a youthfulness where you have primary freshmen and sophomores in there, and they get in those moments, and they want to do it so bad that sometimes you get away from your approach, and sometimes you try to do too much, and like every hit has to be to your pull side to have success. And Josh in that moment, Josh thinks to a breaking ball, has a 50-50 ball go against him, and then gets back to his approach away with 2 strikes, gets a fastball off the plate away and stays on it, shoots it in the gap. It's just a maturation process, and you're right. Like, we've had opportunities to score in multiples like that, especially when there's an error or a walk, and we have to continue to push through and not get too excited, try to do too much, and just stick with it. And we did a better job of that, and you can see him growing throughout, just at bats and experience and being there before and slowing your heartbeat down, all those kind of things, and did a great job. That was a really special. It really was just a quintessential Josh Bine, where it's like he's just such a tough kid. At 0-2, he gets back to his approach, stays on it, uses the whole field, and a huge hit. Obviously broke the game open at that point early.
Bobby, what was going through your mind when you stole home in that last inning?
I just saw the way he pitched. I looked at Mercer and I said, "Can I go?" And he said, "If you have it." So that was the last thing I thought about, and then I went.
You ever done that before?
I have never done that before. I've stole home on the catcher throwback, but never on the pitcher.
You had 2 really huge hits today, that 2-out single and obviously the RBI triple. What were you seeing at the plate today that made you hit the ball so effectively in those at-bats?
I was just sitting on the fastball trying to hit it up the middle and then adjust it to the curveball and just played right into my approach.
You also had yet another contact with the wall. So how are you feeling out there right now?
Good.
Okay.
All good.
It was also you also made quite a solid throw at one point. You didn't get the guy because he beat it, but you made the throw on a. Was that something you've been working specifically on, trying to?
Yeah, during our drill work, we always work on back turns and throws to bases, and just sailed a tiny bit, but yeah, it was a good play.
You always seem to run really hard out of the box. That helped today in infield hits, and that's helped on extra base hits. Do you take a lot of pride in your hustle out of it?
Yeah, when I get out of my car at the field, I promise myself no matter what happens, 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts or 5 for 5 with 5 home runs, I'll be the one that plays the hardest on the field. So definitely pride myself in playing the game hard.
As an outfield core, the team kind of had a week in which some balls got over your heads, maybe misjudged a few balls. What have you guys been doing as an outfield core to get that under control? Because you got a lot of really good grabs today.
Yeah, we've been sticking to what we do well and not thinking too much about it. We did have a bad week at Rutgers, but we worked hard this week and we got back to what we do well, and now we're just playing the game.
Kind of related to the catch at the wall, but on that first pitch, it nearly left the park till you caught it at the wall. Was your first thought, "Oh shoot, that's out of the park," or did you know you had a play on it?
I was running hoping I had a play on it, but to be honest, I didn't really know, and I'm just thankful it stayed in.
All right, quality start. You've been putting quite a few of those together. What was working for you today?
It was nice to have the curveball. I haven't had that all year, it seems like, but landing the curveball on the slider
having them off balance all day, that was a big thing for me. So.
Okay, so those were the two off-speed pitches, because I know we saw one kind of mid-80s and one a little low 80s.
Yeah, the slider is probably the harder one, and then the curveball is the slower one. But
Okay.
It was nice to have both of them today.
And it looks like Coach said that obviously you were not trying to use the off-speed as much early. When that first inning they got to you a little bit,
Right.
And then you were actually kind of leading with it a few times later in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. And so once you kind of get towards those later innings, how are you approaching your pitch sequence then?
It's just like getting ahead. So whatever Glant has and his idea, I trust him all the way. So we kind of pitch backwards sometimes, but landing the sinker is good as well. So just whatever he calls.
Do you think this was your best start of the season? 11 Ks, just 3 hits, 1 run, and then 16 strikeouts for the staff. What were you seeing today, and do you think this was your best day on the mound?
It was a pretty good day. I think earlier in the year when I had the no-hit game going into, I think it was the 6th. I think that was a good outing too. But for me, it was just landing my sinker both sides of the plate and landing both those off speeds today was good. So, yeah.
How did you keep the ball in the park so well when the wind was blowing out and howling out to left and still is now?
Yeah, that first one about got out of here. But just locating down, staying down in the zone and keeping them off balance, that plays well. So just keep doing that.
How did it feel to have so much quality defense behind you today?
Yeah, Max Johnson, great freshman. He's playing amazing. 3rd start, I think it is, and making great plays, filling in for Phillip. It's awesome.
What's it do for your confidence when you start to stack strikeouts like you did in the later innings today?
It just keeps you going, honestly. Kind of late, I was getting kind of tired, but, I had these guys off balance all day, and it was just like, keep attacking. It's good.
So what was kind of going through your head? You're almost at 110 pitches, gotten to get that one last out. How did you get through that?
Yeah, Clint came out there. He was like, I know you got more in the tank. And I was like, yeah, I can dig a little deeper here and just get out of it. And I ended up getting out of it. So
that concludes this media edition of Talking Hoosier Baseball. With the series clinched, the Hoosiers now move on to try to sweep the series that will begin Sunday at 12 noon. See you at the Bart.